What's going on, guys? Let's talk about what's happening in the cryptoverse. I'm going to start on the June futures contract for one reason in particular. Just looking at the low time frame, the Elliott Wave pivot indicator really seemed to catch this move quite well. So I wanted to show you that, show you the structure starting here. If you are a traditional Elliott Waver, you may want to use a 1 to 5. So it's pretty simple to count here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a one wave. And then we've got this big ABC behind it, or WXY. On the other one, it shows this pivot over here. It looks a little funky. And then we don't have the same subdivision up here yet. So I chose to show it here because this really shows quite clearly the running flat we have here in a WXY fashion. And then we have another impulse up out of it. And that impulse up has ended. This is over here based on a trend line here. If you draw a trend line up, the trend line was broken either on this pivot or on this move here. So that is a completed wave 3 for me. And we're probably putting in a wave 4. Now, wave 5s during these are often the most straight up. So it's very possible, if I'm correct here, that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going in. It's very possible that our next move is pretty strong. And when we get rejected at the top, it's very likely that that's the top for quite a while, for longer than this. So you can see back here, let me grab a polyline, make it pretty thick here. So it's nice and visible. So we had the impulse up. This is the first move down. We had the flip here, giving us a pivot. And then we had this structure up, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, A, B, C, and the impulse up. So 3, 3, 5. And then it gave us a 5 count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For a very clear ABC correction. And we've started an impulse out of that correction. Let me just go ahead and flip back to the main contract, the perpetual contract here. We're going to turn the Elliott Wave pivot indicator off. We don't need that. You see our trend going in here. Trend is holding very well so far. But if we're going to project out of this correction that I just showed you, how high would we expect to come out of this correction? Well, at minimum, bare minimum, we should expect a 1x expansion. So just take a box, marking out the high and low of the correction, and double the box. 1x, 1 times the amount of the correction. We're not even there yet. So at minimum, I'm really expecting to see at least 10,500 out of this. And more likely is twice the correction. Up to 11,600 type levels. So I continue to look for upside, and very likely to that degree. We had a massive correction here that we impulsed out of. You can see the breakout was here. And we've talked about this piece already. Hopefully I have at least a few new followers watching this, so you may not have seen me talk about it in the last video. But this is a large corrective pattern, which we broke out of, and we continue to impulse out of at this time. So can we use this same strategy down here? Absolutely. I'm going to catch this top right here, down to this low, and we'll just lay this right over the top of those and see if there's any confluence. 1, 2, and we're pretty close. So could be targeting this area right here on the next move up. Wonder if we can get any time out of this. Time projections. Sorry about that. So this isn't really something I've looked at just yet. The only thing I did look at is the previous impulse back here. This guy. The impulses and corrections both took about 42 days on pretty much all of them. So like this one was 43 and a half. This one was 40. And this one was like 39. I believe we're already past that here. Yeah, 44 days. So realistically, I would like to finish this move pretty soon with that in mind. But we could also take a measurement here. I like this one. This is the most comparable flat to the flat we just completed. So let's just take a measurement of the time of this move. The time of this correction. I would say it ended here, maybe even here. I'm going to say it was there. That's our counter at the time. How long did the correction behind it take? Looks like probably close to 75%. A little bit under 75% of the time. But more than 0.5, right? So let's call it 0.625. Yeah, that's dead on the money. If we go back over here and measure the time of that correction, could we get close to that? Let's take a look. I think we're already past it, aren't we? We are. We're way past it. Unless, nope. We're way past it. So realistically, this move could be ending anytime. I would like to see one more push up, and then I do think we start a larger correction of similar degree to this. Now, I marked out all these higher lows on the low time frame. I think I'm about to delete them. I guess I'll just hide them for right now. So you can see on the 15-minute, these held very well. They look beautiful so far. We have the same thing on a higher degree. Where our initial low is down here. We've got a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. I could keep going here and go up to this pivot. For this next move to be a correction, we definitely need to maintain this. And I really don't want to come over and overlap this one. So here, it's interesting that this matches up. Let's see. Let's just put it, still not far enough. Okay. So I'm going to delete all these. You get the idea. We have an uptrend here. We will break this uptrend at some point, unless we just truly have a happening moon. This uptrend will be broken on the next correction, but we want to maintain the higher degree uptrend right around this level. If we can correct and maintain this level, and maybe even this level here, I would accept a wick through that, but not much more. But notice that it lines up with a high volume level as well. And this is where I had a resistance box before. Now we can add it back on because it's a support box. So if we move up one more time and correct down and hold these levels, then that's bullish for me for another move up. I had previously projected like this. I just took a bars pattern and said this. That was just a drawing actually, but something like that. Now I expect it to be deeper. Yeah, that doesn't even really work to use the lows there. I expect if we put a fib retracement on here of this impulse and just call it this level here. This probably lines up with the 0.5. Yeah, pretty close. I want to hold the 0.5. Take back everything I just showed you. I don't really want to hold this. I want to stay above this level. If we move up again. If we moved it down from right here, which I don't believe we're going to, but if we move down from right here, then we're still right around that level. But if we move up again, to remain bullish, I want to see the A wave stay above this level. So you could potentially put some bids at 87.29. And on the A wave, let them fill. That takes guts to do. But typically, the A wave is the deepest move. If this is an A, B, C, the A made the low. Even here, we had an A, B, C. The A made the high because it was running downwards. A, B, C, A made the low. A, B, C, A's made the low. Whether you call this the A or this the A, it made the low. And this one, I believe, was a 50% retracement. Let me double check that. One of these was. This one doesn't look like 50 though. Yeah, it is. Very close to a 50% retracement. So that's what I'm suggesting over here. if we're going to maintain a bullish structure, then we should maintain these levels. If we break these levels, I think the whole thing's done. I think we just continue down. So let's draw out a couple of theoreticals that I'm going to be watching for. I don't have a time estimate, unfortunately, but I would say it shouldn't take any less than 48 days. 48 hours. Any more than 48 hours from right now. Shouldn't take more than 48 hours. So let's move this over. Today is the 8th. Right in here. Now this is a theoretical level. We don't have to find resistance here, but we could potentially find resistance here. So if we push up and then come back down, this is one reason to just use the fractals. We need to make sure our time is approximately right. It should be similar to this one in time, 21 days. '24-ish days. So that's not too bad. That's pretty good in time. And then I'm looking for one more move up out of it. So this is not a halving pump. This is a, people are already expecting, we're pumping into the halving. People are going to expect a dump. So buying this would be counter what people are going to expect. They're going to expect us to be topped here because we had the pump already. Realistically, we balance out for a while and we move up again. And it forms some kind of SFP with this level, but manages to retest and regain it. So just looking at the chart colors here, you see 12-hour flipped red there. So did daily. This could make the daily flip red. It seems unlikely that it would. But I would accept that in structure for daily to flip red. You see we flipped here, but we never had much momentum. So what I would expect is to come down. Let me redo that. I guess it would kind of do that actually. So it would come down like this, and then as we're going up, we make a divergence on these tops. We make a bearish divergence across there. So that's what I would be looking for this to be some kind of top. We need to make some kind of divergence on the daily MACD. You could count it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I don't really care to count it because we will just play each one as the trend forms. This could be an ABC. We could be done here. It could be going down. If we break the trend line, if we break this high volume level, the 50% level, then I think we're done. Daily MACD flips red for some reason, I think we're done. Our weekly is due to cross. Let me find my MACD visual. I don't think I have it on here. But our weekly MACD is set to cross very soon. So at current price, the next bar will open positive and strongly positive. The only way to uncross those is to get below the fast and slow MAs, both of them. So the likelihood of not crossing the weekly MACD to positive is exceptionally low. We are going to do it. So that now gives us the structure of an A, B, C as very likely, highly likely. Here's the thing. That ABC could be over at any time. We can make the contracting flat and break down. We need to go to another chart here. So we had an A, B, C, or WXY, most likely an A, B, C, and then potentially a C down. Like this. There are so many variations of this count that I could draw them all out and waste all of our time, and it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. What's important to watch is the trend line up on this move. If we break that trend line, we're probably done. This trend line right here. If we break that trend line, it's bearish. 3-day, weekly, daily MACD, if they turn red, there's a good chance we're done. And instead of making, I'm showing that right, yeah. So we have this flat is very possible. A, B, C. It's technically a zigzag, whatever you want to call it. This is really like an ABC here. So if this is forming a C wave out, we do expect a pretty clean 5 waves, and we short the 5th wave after it breaks the trend line, and we target 6,400-ish since we had so much volume there. However, we could into this wave as soon as right now. It looks a little funky, but I'll show you a couple in just a minute that look very similar to this. We could make one more move up and end it. And this would be an A, B, C, all the same. This could be a WXY, so the next wave could be 3 waves. We don't know that yet. It actually would make a lot of sense for it to be 3 waves. Right now, I'm still assuming upside. Right now, we still have evidence that we're moving up. We're forming continuation patterns to the upside on low time frames, and that's what I'm watching. But this right here has been formed so many times. I should probably just grab it from the Discord. Let's do that, because I've already taken screenshots of several of them. It still looks solid right here. 15-minute hasn't flipped positive yet. 5-minute is getting close. We had hidden bullish on 5-minute. If 5-minute crosses positive, I'll probably add to my position. Let's go in here. And if 15-minute crosses positive, I will add to my position again. Public chats, charts. Okay, look here. A, B, C, and down. We didn't reach the high. A, B, C, and down. We didn't reach the high. And it's a V here. A, B, C. This is a 1-minute chart. V. This is a 15-minute chart. This is a 1-hour chart. So it happens on all kinds of time frames. I have not seen it on a daily time frame on Bitcoin to this same degree. But we could very well fail to break this top and come back down with a V. Now this one did break this high, right? This one didn't quite break that high. This one didn't quite break that high. But we could either break this high or not and still come down out of this structure. So we need to be careful on that. We need to be very wary of that. Right now, we expect higher. We expect a continuation pattern. But if we break down, like I talked about earlier, we break the higher low, we break the 50% retracement of this impulse, then we should watch out for much lower prices like this. 2K Bitcoin. I would love that. So I had a couple people ask me a couple questions. I'm going to jump off. I feel like I didn't answer those. So I'm just going to pause real quick. I'm going to look at those questions, see if I feel like I've answered them satisfactorily. But for now, this is what we're watching, and I'll be right back. So really the only question I feel like I didn't answer very well was time, the time piece. That one's pretty hard to say. If this is an impulse, let's go to a daily. If this is an impulse of the same degree of this one, we could expect time to be similar to it. This piece here, 92 days. "92 days would put us early June. The current move really should be done in the next couple days. And we have 2 days and 21 hours. So in my opinion, we'll probably move up and dump right after the Bitcoin halving. In the dump, the significance of the dump will need to be taken into account for the next move. Is it here or is it lower? And it could even be that the first move down comes there, and then we form something like this, and come down again. So once we start forming this, we'll have another video. But mostly we expect to break the top in the A wave or in the B wave and make a running structure like these other ones. We mostly expect to do this and come down, so that'll actually be a short signal. If we fail to break that top and we break a trend line here and we break down, top's in. I don't think we recover from this. We could take out this low again on the C, but it's so common not to that I would be very cautious if we do. If we fail to break the top and we break the low, then that's exceptionally bearish for me, and I'm expecting much more downside. All right, guys, I think that's all I've got. Let me do this one more time. I just like to look at time here. I'm going to call it even a little longer and grab this pivot here. So if we finish that move in 2 days, and we could correct and then impulse out again. This is not for price. This is for time. July, early June to early July. I would say if we correct here, then we're definitely expecting July, a July target for the finish. If we break down, then we're breaking down. It doesn't matter. So this 92 bars is probably not all that relevant. We're probably more like back here at 137-ish bars. Yeah, it's a little long, but possible. We'll have to see how long this one takes. And I would expect, for the most part, I expect these to take a similar amount of time out of each other. Like this one. This one started here, and we're still in it. So 46 days, call it 48. I expect the correction and next impulse to take 48 days. Gives us June 30th-ish. Maybe a couple days longer. So I would think the beginning of July would be a very important time. As long as we hold a significant level on this next retracement. Also of note, I'm not planning to set my sell orders at 11,500. I showed you 11,500 could be an important level, an important target. But if we just run through that thing, then I don't want to close my orders. So I will be trailing my stops up. You can take partial profits as we move up again, but just don't get caught closing out everything and missing out on the move. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.